Oh my god. This stupid ass shit. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Beauty4Bella and today I'm going to be doing another story time. I uploaded one previous to this, so if you watched that one, then I'm assuming either you clicked on this because you like these kind of story times or because you're new to my channel. And if you are, please subscribe if you're new. I hope you're here to stay as always. And today I'm going to be telling you guys another funny story. Not funny, I guess, but pretty crazy story. And so if you watch my first video, then you would know that I used to work at a stripper agency or call girl agency, whatever, however you want to call it. Pretty much I worked there from the age of 15. And I was there for a few years. So in the time of me being there, I seen some pretty crazy stuff, some stuff that I could laugh about now and some stuff that just wasn't funny. But today's video is going to be about me getting locked by the store associate at Kinkos inside the store. Like I said, I used to work at a stripper agency. Pretty much you would make a call and I would set up the appointment for the stripper to go out to see you. Of course, the person calling in did not know that I was just an appointment setter. However, they thought that I was the actual stripper, and it wasn't phone sex. Yes, I did get douchebags that would be phone sex or try to talk to me or whatever the heck it is, or would be jacking off, let's be real. You could totally tell what they were doing, but I would just hang up on those guys or girls, whatever the heck it was. I just wouldn't entertain them like that. But anyway, so my boss had ran out of, okay, so actually let me go back. So part of you being a stripper or whatever the heck you want to call it, it is what it is, right? And call girl, they would have a legal contract that they would have to sign for each appointment that was set up. And it would be pretty much basic. It would say the dollar amount, who was the driver, who was the stripper, who was the appointment setter, who was the dispatch manager. It would have the address, you know, and it would just like give small details. I wish I still had that contract, but I don't, or those contracts, so I could show you guys, but I really don't. So anyways, you would, the contract you would stamp it with a number. We had like a stamp that we would get, and we would stamp it, and you would have to, you know, like we would make copies of it and then it would stamp, and that would, you know, it was a legal contract supposedly. And obviously for tax purposes, my boss would use those. Anyways, our printer broke and we were running low on them. So my sister at the time sent me to Kinkos in Rolling Heights, California, off the 60 freeway. I think it was like, I don't know, I think it was like the Fullerton exit if you're from this area. But I don't even think they're called Kinkos no more, right? I think it's like FedEx or something like that. They're like FedEx bought out Kinkos or whatever the heck it is. And anyways, my sister sent me to go get contracts, copies of contracts, because we were running low and we would run out. And so she told me, you know what, just go to Kinkos and make like $100 or make like 100 copies or whatever the heck it is, and then bring them back. And so I did. Okay. And by the time that this happened, I was 17. I was 17, gonna be 18. And I was like 8.5 months pregnant. I was pretty huge pregnant with my first son. And so I go to make copies. Well, when I told the gentleman, back then they didn't have like the self-service, so the gentleman would do it for you. This was like years and years ago, okay? And so, or the sales, whatever, the employee at Kinkos would, you would tell them, okay, I need 100 copies or whatever the heck it is, and then they would do it for you, okay? Well, or they would like put in, actually it was like they would put in a card or something, if I remember correctly. Gosh, it was so long ago. They would put in like a card or something like that into the machine, and then they would set it up, and then you would go and pay once it was done. Well, so I give him the thing and I tell him I want 100 copies. Well, the guy, when he went to go enter it, instead of entering 100, he entered 1,000. And so they ended up making 1,000 contracts, right? And when they did that, I wasn't going to pay for that because I had only asked for 100 and the guy made extra. And so I'm in the store and it starts making more, and I try to stop the machine because I'm like, I'm not going to pay for this, and I'm trying to cancel it. Well, it wouldn't do it for whatever reason. There was like a malfunction of all times. Of course, it's this time. And so it malfunctioned, and it continued to print 1,000 copies. Well, this fucking asshole, sorry about my language, this jerk, I went to go get him and tell him, hey, I didn't put 1,000, I put 100, or I told you 100 and you put 1,000, and I'm not paying for these. I'm not going to pay for this. I'm not going to pay for it. It was my boss wasn't there. He wasn't even inside the office. So it wasn't like he was going to come and pay for it or anything like that. I'm not going to be responsible for that. I'm not going to be out that money, let's call it what it is. I worked in a shitty industry, and my boss wasn't the greatest of bosses. So the guy's like, yes, you did. You said 1,000. I said, no, I didn't. I said 100. And he kept on arguing with me, and we were going back and forth. And I'm like, well, fuck this shit. I'm not paying. And I proceeded to leave the store. I was like, you can keep the contracts. And I was leaving the store, and the guy ran and he locked me inside the store. And it was just myself, my boyfriend at the time. Well, he was always my boyfriend, but it was the father of my kids, and myself, and there was 2 associates. So it was like 4 of us total inside the store. And he locked me inside the store. And so I called my sister because I was freaking out, because I'm like, this fucking guy locked me in the store. And it was 2 guys that were working there. And I called my sister and I explained to her what was going on. I was like, hey, they locked me in the store. The guy screwed up. He made 1,000 copies, not 100. And now he wants me to pay for him, and he's not letting me leave the store until I pay for him. And I told him, I'm not paying for that. I'll pay for the 100. And the guy would not let me leave the fucking store. And I'm like dead serious. He locked me in the store. And my boyfriend at the time, he was very calm about shit like that. He just thought it was funny, and here I am buku pregnant, and he's not letting us leave the store. And my boyfriend's like, hey, you need to let us leave the store. You can't hold us. You're fucking holding us hostage. And the guy's like, no, you're not leaving without paying for this. We're not getting stuck with this. Blah, blah, blah. You said 1,000. Your girlfriend said 1,000. She said 1,000. And, he's like, no, she didn't. She said 100. I was right here. And the guy just proceeded to be so adamant about me saying that I wanted 1,000, which was a lie. Well, my sister's on the phone. She's talking to the store manager. She's like, we're not going to pay for him. She's like, let her go or whatever. And he would not let me go. I was literally locked in the store for 20 minutes. And then what ended up happening was I was like, okay, I had my cell phone. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to call the cops because you're holding me hostage. And he got on his phone and he talked to his manager or whatever. And his manager's like, I don't know what the heck his manager told him, but somewhere along the lines of you better fucking let her go. This is going to be a lawsuit, blah, 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 or whatever the heck it is. And he was arguing with his boss about it. No, she has to pay or whatever the heck it is. And it was they were going back and forth or whatever. Well, he ended up letting me go. Okay. Sorry if I'm looking over here. It's because of viewfinder, so I want to make sure that I'm in focus. So he finally unlocked the door and let us go, and we didn't take none of them because at that point I was fucking pissed. I was 8.5 months pregnant, 8.5 months pregnant. I was too far knocked up. My emotions were out of fucking whacked. And I am dealing with this fucking bullshit that I shouldn't be dealing with, And so he lets me go. And I go back to the office, and I was pretty pissed off. Now I can laugh about it because I'm like, this is just something crazy in life that I lived through or that I went through that was just crazy. Was it traumatizing at the time? Yes, it was. It was fucking very traumatizing. But is it now? No, it's not traumatizing. I got over it. But I was fucking so pregnant and, yeah, so I go back to the store and my sister's like, what happened? Blah, 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 or whatever. I ended up calling the cops and I explained to the cops what had happened and I, blah, 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 or whatever. And she's like, oh, telling me all this stuff. And I was like, I don't know, the guy went crazy. Like, I didn't tell him that I wanted 1,000 copies. I told him I wanted 100, and my boyfriend was there and he backed me up and he was like, yeah, I told her, Maribel told him that she wanted 100 copies, not 1,000, and he's like, I don't know where the heck he got that number from. And, so that happens or whatever, we get a call from the police department or whatever the heck it is, and they wanted me to give a statement, which I did, and they advised me that I should sue Kinkos, that was, that they could not do that, and that was like, well, they didn't advise me, I should not say that, that's inaccurate. They like pretty much like told me like, hey, this is against the law and that kind of thing or whatever the heck it is. But I already knew that I could sue them, and I guess like I just was like, fuck this shit, I just want to go home, I'm too pregnant for this shit. And like at the time I was in shock, and like I was crying when I was in the store, like I was pissed off. But yeah, so I go back and my sister's like laughing about it, and she's like, what the fuck happened, how did this happen? And we were explaining to her what had happened, and she was just like, they're fucking nuts, they're crazy, that's something huge, you can't lock somebody in the store. And she's like, and you're pregnant, you could sue the shit out of them. And I was like, I'm just done, I'm so glad to be over this. That was like my thing, was like, I'm so glad to be over this. And yeah, so I think like a day or two passed and the store manager ended up personally delivering all the contracts that they had printed up, plus like, I don't know, I think it was like 4,000 more. So they gave us like 5,000 contracts for free, because they just didn't want to get sued. And they were very apologetic, and they said, any printing needs that you need for like a year, you can come back. And, we definitely don't want this to be a bad sore, taste in your mouth. And, we're all about businesses and blah, 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 or whatever, and said all this bullshit or whatever. So of course my boss was on cloud 9 because he just got 5,000 contracts for free and he didn't have to fucking pay for the ink or the paper or anything else. But additionally to that, obviously, I never sued. I'm not one of them friggin' sue people. I'm not sue happy or anything like that. But it was super crazy, and I remember like crying when I was in the store because I was scared and I didn't know what the heck they were gonna do. And I was like, what the hell, like, why is this guy holding me hostage? And there were these two associates and whatnot. And it's just one of those crazy stories that came with the territory of the type of industry I was in, I guess you could say. I'm not in that industry anymore, obviously. I don't know if any of you guys know, but if you're newly subscribed, I'm not in that industry anymore. But I did definitely stay in that industry for quite some time, and it was obviously the money had me staying, and it was easy money for me. But after a while, it did take its toll on me, and after seeing so much shit and being around so much shit, I pretty much opened up my eyes and was like, get the fuck out of this industry. But if you like these kind of videos, please like and subscribe. And if you're new to my channel, hello, I hope you're here to stay. I have quite a few stories times that I could say regarding that, and that type of industry that I was in. I was in it from the age of 15 to like 23. So almost 10 years I was in that industry, and I definitely have a lot of crazy, scary, funny, unbelievable stories. So if you like these kind of story times, please let me know in the comments down below, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.